everybody. Welcome to another episode of Between the Sheets. I'm Gaye. You can hear us the first and third Friday of every month here at United Broadcasting Network, ubngo.com. Follow us on Facebook, that's Between the Sheets Podcast, and on Instagram, QTEBrat. We have a wonderful person, again, joining us. It's so funny because right before I get on the air, Tristan's like, because I'm stretching out my shirt, and she's like, show your boobs. And I'm like a jerk. I'm
pull it down, baby. Pull it down.
To show my cleavage. What the hell for is that?
Show your cleavage.
Stop.
You have great breasts. You got to show them off.
Stop
no.
with the boobs.
Is that little extra that you get when you guest star on the show?
Yeah.
That was in my rider.
There you go.
So we
have boobs.
So we have Tony. Thank you very much for running the boards. We have Delicia's back.
Yay!
I don't give a shit. I'm going to call you what I want because it's normally delicious. Delicious.
Better with delicious.
We have Roxanne. I know you don't. She's sitting looking at me going, Roxanne.
Say the right one.
Roxanne. We have Mara back. We have Kim back.
Yay!
From like way down yonder.
Way down under.
Yonder.
Straight.
Yonder, like
Yonder.
Georgia?
Under.
And then we have Sheena.
Hi.
Double Aries trouble tonight. Just saying.
And I put
Just
you,
saying.
and you
You
know
might
what?
want to stay off this side of the mountain.
And I put you weirdos together.
Good.
As we should be.
As it should be. Oh my God, this is so exciting. Oh my God. You know, I do look at these things as a way to get together with my friends and my
Yes.
girlfriends.
Sure.
And just to touch base and just to let it rip and drop the wall. But, the subject that I've been pumping all week or so is empathy. And that's why Sheena's here, because she's the expert of empathy. And, we'll also touch upon, empaths. They're two different things, but I think it's really important just to keep this show a little bit real, spiritual, in a way, down to earth. So we, because all of us here are empaths. I mean, we are, but we're not perfect, because empaths are not perfect. We have our own issues that we have to deal with, and hopefully with this conversation and Sheena, driving it, we'll have some pointers as to how to protect ourselves, but also how to unbreak those patterns. What do we need to do? Because we always sit there and we're at fault for some of the things as well. Now, I know it's not a fault or blame issue, but it's really a growing issue. And I think by us handling these topics, no matter what they are, that it's growth. It's growth for us. It puts us on game. So if you go out of line, Roxanne.
Me out of line?
You're always out of line.
I'm a quadruple Aries.
Yeah,
I'm
whatever.
never out of line.
Then I can sit there and
Amazing
text
you never
you
stop talking.
and go, yo,
Exactly.
you're out of line. Because friends call each other out on our shit. And that's a true friend. So anyway, that's the thing. So I got a new tattoo. I don't know if anybody saw. I don't know if I brought it up the other time. It's patience. I keep wanting to say peace, but patience and family. And shut up.
Maybe patience is peace.
Is
to you.
patience and family or just patience?
It's patience and KIN is family.
Oh, okay.
Or like
with the
patience for
family.
your
So,
family?
Yeah,
Patience
with
for your
them.
family. Patience for your family is
yeah.
good.
You just go to the tattoo parlor and say, that one's pretty? Do you ask what it is?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
that's
were
what
like,
she
Oh,
does.
this is my new one.
How did you know?
Isn't it pretty?
Because I had these there's 5 words
Okay.
that I always thought I wanted to live by. And it's years. It was strength, love, integrity, patience, and honesty. And that's how I try and live my life. You stumble and fall and learn lessons, but that's what I try to. And so these were tattoos I wanted to get for my whole life. And now at 55, I just went crazy. It's like all at once.
Cool.
So anyway, anybody do anything. You know what? I know what to do. I'm going to twist it to Delicia, because Delicia is half the woman she used to be. She did 2 shows for us here, and then she disappeared. And we knew what was going on. And if you followed her Facebook page, you did too. She was suffering from
Crohn's disease.
Crohn's disease. Wow. So briefly tell us, and then briefly promote what you're doing.
Okay, so for the last 2 years, I've had the worst flare-up of my life, and I've lost over 100 pounds. I was sick to the point where I wanted to die, frankly. And I had doctors that have fired me. I've had so many insane things happen to me throughout this journey that has just really opened my eyes to the health industry in America. And has kind of made me say, like, what the health? So many times that I decided I'm going to start a vlog because I want to be able to help other people. And if anyone else is in the position that I was in, where you're crying, in pain, doubled over on the table in your gastroenterologist office, but refusing to take their biologics or their prednisone because you know it could A, either kill you, or B, either kill you because you're going to jump in front of a train, and the doctor, instead of helping you, fires you and says, you can't be my patient because I can't watch you die and you won't take any of my meds. So I decided to start this. I started a website. I just published it today. It's called whatthehealth.net. So if you want to follow my journey or you want to see, I've made videos throughout the process and you could see some of the insane stuff that has happened. It's just been crazy. So,
Well,
but I'm
congratulations
back and
on
I'm
that.
feeling fantastic.
Yay!
Congratulations. That's great.
What the health is right. Hey, everybody, I forgot to do this. 323-524-2599. 323-524-2599. Please call us. We really enjoy your conversations, your dialogue with us, so I encourage you to do so. Hey, Kim, you want to tell us where you were?
Oh my God.
Where were you?
I took a vacation, y'all, for the first time in 6 years. I think I
Nice.
deserve it. But I did go. I went to Melbourne, to Australia, saw my daughter who lives there, has been there for 6 years, had such a blast. I can't even tell you, you guys. I can't even tell you how amazing Melbourne is. It's clean, great restaurants, great bars, great public transportation. Coming back to LA literally made me cry for about 10 minutes. We got to go to the Gold Coast while we were there for 4 days, and it was fab. The beaches and the water and the hikes. I love it. Love, 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 love.
Yeah, Melbourne is my favorite. I liked
Yeah.
Sydney was okay, but Melbourne was great.
And
It must
show
have
the
been
rain.
amazing.
Such
Oh, yes. Hold on.
She got some
Ooh, she got
bling.
some bling.
Did you get married over there?
I mean,
There's
I think-
something you haven't
I
told
think it was
us.
probably a whole lot more fun because, I was hanging out with like 30-somethings and we were just wild. We were wild. We did
Yeah.
whatever we wanted and they were beautiful people. But yeah, I had a great time.
That's
Hard
awesome.
to come home.
No, it is hard. I went to New York for a few days. It was amazing. I got to work with Edie Falco. That's Mrs. Soprano and Nurse Jackie. She couldn't have been the nicest, had the best shoot ever. Being in New York is just like a breath of life. I love LA. Don't get
love
me
New
wrong,
York.
but I was raised back there, and you don't know you miss it until you're there. I mean, like every morning I walked. Every night I walked. I realized I love to walk.
The walking
Which
is
is why I'm
amazing.
hiking now and hiking tomorrow morning. And you should be there with us.
I know,
but
darn.
you made plans, but next time. But I'll keep you posted next
Yeah,
time.
thank you.
But
'Cause I would love to go.
I walked from the smokehouse
Oh, well, considering what
Tonight.
you've been through.
and came here and did this, just so you all know.
Just saying.
There you go.
So anyway, without further ado, I'm actually going to toss it for a moment to Sheena.
Okay.
Because how do we start this topic?
Well, I mean, what you said about empathy and empaths being two different things, I think is very interesting. I think everybody needs to know that we all have some level of empathy, except for narcissists. They have none. And we all have some level of empathy, but we're not all empaths in the same way that we can all run, but we're not all runners. Sure. It's empaths are sort of like have empathy to the point where all of the stuff that's coming in all the time can overtake your emotional and spiritual operating systems and affect you physically. And most people that are empaths don't know they're empaths. They just know that they're sick all the time. They have strange random illnesses and they don't know why. And it's because I think that we don't think a lot about how your spiritual, we all know we have a physiological immune system, but we also have an emotional immune system and a spiritual immune system, and they all are intertwined with each other.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
as you're taking in too much spiritually, you're affecting your emotions and you're affecting your physical body. And as fragile as our physicality is, as Delicia said, Delicia.
Thank you. I don't want everyone in the world calling me Delicia.
I'm just glad you said it right.
Delicia.
I'm just so glad because I had no idea
That's
how to
how
say
I feel
it.
about
I'm
you.
just so glad you said it right.
Delicia.
I just
Delicia.
followed the leader.
Don't ever
Alicia.
follow the leader.
As Delicia said,
Thank you.
you know, as weak as our physical systems and as fragile as they seem, they're actually the strongest because they hold out the longest before the symptoms of taking in too much spiritually begins to manifest itself. A lot of people who take in too much are empaths, take in too much, they have migraines. A lot of them have digestive problems, irregular heartbeats. I mean, these are all things that are very common if you're taking in too much. Horrible amounts of anxiety, depression, you know, all of that. And it's just because you don't know how to filter out what's coming in. And it's hard because it's sort of like if we had to wander around with no skin. And you need to learn to grow a skin, and you need to learn through filters and through screens to manage what comes in, because there's a lot of input in our lives now between the actual amount of people we encounter and then also the amount of people that we encounter on a cyber level now. I mean, tens of thousands of people every day we encounter just going on Facebook.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, if you go to like your Facebook timeline and you just go through at night like I do to send prayers to people, sometimes you can feel somebody's posts like literally sucking the life out of you. And it's because these are people that for whatever reason don't know how to make enough of their life force, of their chi. That should be your next tattoo, chi. Don't know how to make enough of their chi, so they
Note
they just
to self.
chi.
She.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if that doesn't work, you can just go, that one's pretty, and tell people, this is chi. So, you know, they don't really know, you know, that they're taking in too much, and then they develop all kinds of problems. And the less connected you are to yourself, the more you open yourself up for those problems.
But don't you think, because we were having just a quick discussion at round table here before, I know, save it for air, but we didn't. Empaths, we're not perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
I mean, we push people's buttons
course.
a lot. Do you think that empaths are how we are because of lack of self-love?
No, I think empath is a thing you're born with, like your IQ or your eye color.
I would agree.
But I think that, like anything, you can develop it, or it can develop depending on what happened in your childhood. So if you are an empath and you were also raised by a narcissistic parent or absentee parents, or you were raised in the foster care system and you didn't have people, maybe then you didn't develop that strong connection to you. And I talk about this a lot, both when I pastor and when I work as a spiritual counselor and when I teach, that the most important connection you can have is the one to yourself. It's plugging everything into you. So it's not like the half plugged in vacuum cleaner that you pull too far and it goes off, and you push back and it goes on. Then the next important is connection to whatever your higher power is, whatever spirit means to you, then connection to the earth, and then lastly, your connection to others. Well, most people do it backwards. We think about what everybody thinks of us first. And then next we think about, what does the world think of us? How do I look to the world? What is everybody thinking? Then we think about, oh my God, is God mad at me if I do this? Is God mad at me if I do that? And then last it's, oh, maybe I should think about me.
But that's the thing. I mean, I know for me as an empath.
And you do that.
Well, thanks.
Most empaths do it till we learn not
this is
to.
the problem with having someone you know to call you. Well, we just talked about they call you out on your shit. But
So I'm not calling you out. It's not a bad thing.
no, it's not.
It's
But
only bad for you.
yes, I know. But now you made me lose my damn thread of thought.
Good job, Aries.
Sorry about that.
But it's kind of like, I mean, what were you saying?
I'm like, let's move on.
Connection to you is the most important thing.
Yeah, okay. Why do empaths, or at least this empath right here with the boobs for you,
There
thank
you go.
Why do I tend to put others first? I don't know. Does anyone else tend to put others first
I
before
used to.
themselves?
Well, I used to too,
to.
and I think what she was saying really about people not knowing that they're an empath really makes a big difference, because I think, like, I had a discussion with my son not that long ago, and I told him, look, I think you're an empath and you're going through the world feeling so depressed all the time because of everybody around you, and you're feeling it, but he had never even heard of it before, and he was like, what is this? I never heard of it, because he's 19, you know? So I think if someone had told me that at 19, maybe I would have never gotten Crohn's disease.
Yeah. And it's a huge thing with people who are addicts, because nothing makes the empathy go away like a big old blanket of like pot or opiates or meth or drink or whatever it is.
I was just going to ask you
Food,
that
sugar.
because I had to numb out with alcohol. Had to numb out with alcohol because I could not shut my head down and I could not stop feeling.
That's
and
how
I
I am
had to
with
make
pot.
it stop. Had to make it stop.
That's
You
how
know?
I am with pot. It's
Yeah.
like,
I
I
was
just,
that
and
way.
especially with all
I
the
just
political
fucking
climate.
annoy people
Yeah.
by calling
Just
them.
ignore
It's like,
it.
when I'm in my head, I mean, I do annoy people, but when I go in my head, I can't stay there. It really is a weird place to be. So I tend to go for distraction. And, I'm not saying I've never done drugs. I'm not saying I've never done alcohol. That's not my go-to. It becomes, what do I do? And then if I try and watch TV, I can't focus because I'm watching TV, but I'm still thinking. So literally I have to get on the phone to engage with someone to keep like this going, because if you're talking to someone, this can't really think. You have to really pay attention to who you're listening to. So yes, I talk a lot, and that's now that's why I know why I talk a lot.
No silent retreats for Gaye Ann.
What?
No silent retreats for Gaye
No,
Ann.
none.
No, so for me, what I have always done, actually since I was like 15 years old, is I call my best friend. She's older than me. She's more developed. She's more experienced than me, and I don't want to distract it. I don't want it to go away. I want to understand it. And so I call her and, hi, Elizabeth. And
Hi, Elizabeth.
if it wasn't for her in my life, I don't know where I would be, because there's a point in your life where you just kind of feel like you're crazy, or you're the only one, or I take things too personal, or I'm too sensitive. There's something,
I'm too emotional,
right?
too sensitive.
So then I call her and she validates all of my feelings, because she's an empath as well.
Emotional. You are too sensitive.
And
And then she hangs up.
But not in a bad way.
but
I'm sure she doesn't slam you
No.
for it.
She's just had decades of therapy,
Right.
and she's older, and so she just guides me down a path to get me to understand why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling. And once I could really understand my feelings, that's the only time I could put them away. I can't put them away by distracting me, because that's just a temporary distraction. I feel things so deeply that temporary distraction doesn't last, and it's going to come right back. But after my long conversations with her, and I could understand it mentally, is when I could lay it to rest. But I really have learned, because ever since I was a kid, I've had one parent that's always been sick. So I went right into caretaker mode, and an empath, that's the
That's what we
number
do.
one thing is
Well, we
caretake.
caretake,
Right.
and then we try and fix.
Right.
See, that's a problem.
Well, and let me say something really quick about what Roxanne said. The thing is, if you don't know who you are, if you're not connected to you, then you don't know how to discern who's a real friend from who's not a real friend.
Exactly.
So you allow, you get yourself with other people who also don't know who they are, and suddenly everybody's just blowing smoke up everybody's ass, and nobody's telling anybody the truth. So over years and years and years of that, you don't even know what the truth is anymore. That's why sometimes people have breakdowns and then go to therapy at like 50 or 60 or whatever. They're completely freaked out. They have no idea who they are, because they haven't aligned themselves with people who are genuinely connected. So you've learned to connect better by connecting to a friend who's connected. And that's how we connect. But if you don't have anybody in your life that will tell you the truth, it's why celebrities have breakdowns and go crazy.
Yeah.
Because everybody in their life works for them.
Yes.
So no one's telling them the truth, because they're scared if they say, you know what, you're a douchebag today. Then, yes, the minister just said douchebag. You're a douchebag today.
What does
twice.
a douchebag look like? No, I'm kidding.
We're gonna go to Walgreens after this. We're taking a little trip to Walgreens. But they're scared if they tell you the truth, the paycheck will stop.
Yeah.
So nobody tells it. And you see this all the time in groups of people, where the shallowness just grows and grows and grows, because no one's telling anybody the truth.
But what's the problem with people I usually tell the truth. There were times when
Usually?
have
you ever not
I know,
told the truth?
usually.
Well, yeah, if I don't want to
When
go.
you lied about her name?
Yeah, her name.
If I ever ask you if I look fat in the pants, you better tell me I do if I do.
But it's like, no. The only time I've really lied is like if I've overextended myself to go out. And I haven't done that to you guys when you guys invited me out. As
yeah,
you know.
let me
sure.
tell you.
No, no.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
But
I've
it's
invited
kinda
you out
like-
a million times, by the way.
I know, but then then you tell me, oh, there'll be people your age there, and then I'm gonna call you out on this. Then she says, well, Gaye Ann, they were younger people, and I looked at the pictures, so there was no 50-year-old ass there. They were like 30s. What the hell?
Every time I invite her out, she's like, are the people my age here? And I'm like, it doesn't matter.
worry
You're just
about
going to be
that?
with your friends.
You know what? Yes, I
Be
worry
with
about
your
that.
friends.
I don't care how-
Age doesn't matter.
I don't know how old any of us are, and I don't care.
Right?
All I'm saying is, I've tried to converse with 30-year-olds.
But you're with us. You don't have to converse with them.
So I just go to the party just with you.
but
And the
wait,
three of us stick together like a small army. Is that
No,
what
we
we're-
meet people. We say hi.
You deal with people every day. You work in the industry. You must talk to people who are like 12 and people who are 85.
That's true.
Well,
So
then.
you can't go to a party and talk to a 30-year-old?
I can.
Thank you, Sheena. Help me out because she won't come out with me because
Forget
they're
it. Let's move
30-year-olds.
on. Empathy.
So there,
Go.
yeah.
No.
So there's 3 different types. I was reading a lot.
Thank you, Mara.
Yes.
Thank you for having
Thank
my
God
back.
You better thank her. We were going to
Thank you,
get
Mara.
you.
Thank God Mara has facts because I have none.
Mara has 5
And
stars today.
I usually never have facts because facts
No,
just
you've been-
bore me to tears. But
no.
this
You
is-
have always done facts in the past few weeks. You've been very prepared.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I read. I'm not trying to be funny. God.
Being very serious.
Okay, so
Okay.
there's a common mistake that they use the word sympathy and empathy as interchangeable. Brene Brown, I love her.
Love her.
She was talking about the difference between those is that empathy is all about connection, whereas sympathy is disconnection. Then I started reading more and listening to more podcasts, and one woman was talking about how empathy is being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. That's what it is, but there's 3 different types of empathy that people run the gamut from, and I tend to be the emotional one. There's cognitive empathy, which is more of the thinking. You can put yourself in someone's shoes in a in a rational,
More
way,
logical way.
but your emotions are not there. Okay, so then I don't consider that empathy at all, but she's calling it cognitive empathy. Then there's emotional empathy, which is where I'm at. That's when you feel somebody's pain so much that you're either sobbing along with them or having an anxiety attack with them, and that's not something that's helpful to the person.
And it's not healthy for you either.
And it's not healthy for you at all.
I'm
and then
there.
you've been there too.
I've been.
You've been there?
No, me.
You've been there.
She's looking at all of us.
It's like a camping Gaye. She's the hard ass.
Yeah, she's never been there.
Who's speaking to my
So
ear?
you've been there on the emotional side where you have been too swamped up in someone else's, where you're no help to them. Is that what you mean?
Just look at Sheena. Yes.
Don't ask the psychic.
Yeah. Yeah. I have. It's because I feel what they feel. I do feel what they feel, even though they say you don't know what I'm going through, or you don't know what I'm feeling. I do.
Well, she also, I don't agree with this one part that
Okay.
this article said.
Okay.
But it was talking about when you say you empathize with someone, basically the gist of it was you cannot have empathy for someone if you have not been in their shoes before.
No.
That's
I
bullshit.
disagree
That's
with
not
that.
true.
I
That's not
totally
true.
disagree. You can have sympathy.
Clearly, this
because
woman's not an empath.
Yeah, obviously.
She's
But
like, you
that's
can
true.
have
She makes a lot of
sympathy
money,
for
though.
them,
But
but you can't empathize unless you have been there. I do not agree with that.
I
But
don't.
what about physical
So-
pain? So what
What's the
about
third
somebody,
part?
for example, who has Crohn's disease and in major pain every time they go to the bathroom? You can empathize with the fact that, oh my gosh, she's in so much pain and I feel
Right.
sorry. I wish there was something I could do. But there's no way that you could ever know how I'm feeling.
But that's different.
Unless
That's a
But
physical.
even if
Yeah.
you have Crohn's disease, every body is different. So even somebody else who has Crohn's disease may not feel the same way that I feel. And yes, it is physical, but you can't feel how I'm feeling emotionally because you don't know how I'm feeling physically.
I actually will disagree
I
there.
disagree too.
Only to
Right.
say
I disagree.
empaths can feel other people's stuff even if they don't know them, even if they're not in the same area as
can
them,
take on
and
that
even if it's
pain.
something they've never dealt with before. Sometimes empaths will develop Crohn's symptoms and not know what's going on with them. And then it
But yeah,
turns
there is a category about physical empathy too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or something entirely
is that the third one?
different.
What's
No,
the third one?
The third one is the ideal one, which is called compassionate empathy.
The ideal.
What's that?
So that's basically where you are not in your head only. You're not falling apart with them emotionally, but you're able to balance because you're able to. It's the best of both worlds. You're able to feel them, but you're also able to take care of yourself enough to.
Yeah, but
but
you got to be able to take care of yourself, and most of us don't know how to take care of ourselves.
which is what I talk about when I talk about
Well,
screens
boundaries.
and filters.
Yes.
You know, you
Yeah.
want the fresh air to come in, but you don't want the bugs to come in, so you put a screen up.
Hold on, we have a caller. Hi, caller. Welcome to Between the Sheets. This is Gayanne and everybody else. Where are you calling from, and what's your name?
Hey, Gayanne, it's Shireen.
Hi, how are you, Shireen?
I'm I'm good. How are you?
Fine. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm good. Happy to be listening live, finally.
Finally. So tell us, do you have a question about empaths, empathy? You know, the goddess camp stuff.
Yeah, I guess I'm representing for goddesses. I'm sad I'm not calling in when Cara and Wendy are there.
Well, they'll be back.
We're all goddesses here.
But yeah, I just wanted to chime in on empathy. For those of you who don't know, Gaye, you probably know, I've been working on my PhD in clinical psychology for the last 6 years. And I specialize in autism, and that means that I study empathy a lot, and I teach aspects of empathy. So I just wanted to kind of chime in, and I loved that somebody brought in that, or was talking about that article, talking about the different types of empathy. Right, so I just wanted to chime in and say, you know, that yeah, so it's not that there's different like types of empaths, that there's like cognitive empaths or emotional empaths. Everybody has cognitive empathy and emotional empathy. Cognitive empathy is the like being able to know what someone else is feeling, and then the emotional empathy is like the caring aspect of it.
But do
So
you
like
think? But do
people
you
with
think?
autism don't have the cognitive empathy, and people with narcissism, for example, don't have the emotional empathy. They know how you're feeling, but they don't care.
Yes, right. That is true. I read that.
Yes, I do. Well, you're going to have to come on the show, little one.
But I think
I would love to. And by the way, I'm in my 30s, and I hope you like hanging out with me.
Oh, I love you. You know I love you.
Sorry, you will never get another phone
No,
call.
no. Look,
good job,
I've
Aries.
known her I've known this child on the phone since 2006. So I've known her for a really long time, and she's an old soul, and she was raised by all of us goddesses. So she's a keeper. She's a good 30-something-year-old.
Thanks, Gaye.
I love you. Give John my love.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
I just want to say really quick, I didn't mean to negate your pain with Crohn's or anything in any way. Obviously, nobody actually knows what it's like to walk a mile in someone else's shoes.
that's what I'm saying.
But empaths have to worry about allowing too much stuff from
Right,
people. Often
right.
people they love to get in. So,
It's
you know,
called empathy overload too, is
Right,
what I've
yes.
seen.
Yes.
And a lot for me, growing up that way, that was so me, and I've been labeled as oversensitive all the time,
Me too.
way too sensitive.
I cry. People
you
get
know.
upset.
Or crazy.
Can't you hold it together?
You're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
crazy.
You're too
and
crazy.
way too caught up in what my dad's feeling
Right.
and how can I solve his problems, and then what about my mother, and then there's my sister, and you know, I have to say though, a lot of the fix to this is going to be setting boundaries,
Yes.
knowing when to tell somebody, hey, it's not a good time right now, and also you can practice the active listening without being sucked into it, which is a technique in
and that's
itself.
the key. Balance
Yeah.
is the key.
Well, hold
right?
on. First of all, I just read an article today. I posted on Facebook that in some country, and I can't remember, they're actually going to start teaching children empathy.
Good.
Which is odd to me because
is.
you would think you would know what it is, but in this
Okay.
society, in this society, I guess you need to start teaching it. But I agree with you, Mara, and probably everybody else at this table, and Kim. You know, when I cry, I get very emotional, and some of it's my emotion, and some of it I'm picking up the energy off the other person.
Of course.
And it's difficult to somehow try and logically translate that in when you're in that state. So I cry. And then I become like stupidly desperate. You know, it's like, oh, but don't do this and don't, you know,
Like it becomes your problem.
like
You
my
wanna fix
problem.
it,
And
yeah.
and then I don't want it to, whatever the issue is, I want to fix it or don't. It just becomes this, I'll use the word mind fuck, because I'm mind fucking myself, and it usually doesn't sit well with the other person because obviously they don't understand what you're going through. So it becomes a whole insanity.
Well, and I think you touched on something that really is empaths are always trying to fix things.
I'm just going to say
That
empaths
when
are
you,
fixers.
when you were saying that we push people's buttons, I think that's how we do it. I'm always trying to fix people, and it's just because I care, and sometimes it's too much.
But you
it's
know what?
overstepping a
And
lot
that's
of
boundaries.
totally-
You know
Right.
why?
Because I'm sorry.
No, you go.
Because we take on other people's things as ours, we start to try to remedy them and medicate
So
them
we can
the way
feel
that
better.
we would.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
we start trying to fix it because we feel like it's actually happening to us.
Correct.
And then in some ways, that's where we need to separate our egos out of it. 'Cause
Correct.
Definitely.
Not every ego is a bad thing. Sometimes you do things ego-y from a bad thing.
Correct.
Sometimes just from a new soul thing. Your soul isn't old enough yet. We have to realize this is not my battle. It's not for me to take on everybody's everything. And this person didn't ask me to fix them.
Because
it
then
took me
they'll
a while to learn.
Because
that.
then
That's
they'll
right.
get
Yeah.
resentful.
And then you
then they'll
take
get
away their
resentful,
own
and you take away their own journey,
problem
their own
solving, their
power,
own
because
journey.
they're not. No one's going to learn unless they stumble and fall. You can try and protect someone, but it's not. I'm learning this. It's not our job to fix. It's not our job to protect
save anyone, not at all.
And another thing, because I think you've touched upon it, is listening. You know, as empaths, we think we listen. We don't really listen 100%. I don't think we do. I think we can listen to what the person's saying, but as they're saying, we're calculating a solution
Oh, yes.
for
Right.
what they're saying. So we're not really tapping
Engaged.
into their energy and who
Right.
they are.
And we're identifying with their story and thinking about when we were going through that similar emotion.
or something. So
Yeah.
we're listening because we hear everything, but we're starting to process it. But instead of processing it, we just really need to just quiet this and really listen to that person.
Yeah.
And maybe instead of trying to solve it in here, if we listen to that person and feel their energy, maybe we can find a solution to facilitate them on how to get to their next level without telling them what to do.
I will say I used to be that way before taking landmark
Drugs?
classes.
Sorry.
No, that was early 20s, honey. No, I spent about 10 years in and out of landmark classes, and they just really got me to be in tune with myself and taught me how to be with others. And so when somebody's coming to me in pain, I shut this off because I just want to be there for them. I want to be in their world, and I want to feel what they're feeling to be able to give them what they need. So, and that's just what I do. And they have a technique. It's just called the Be With technique, where we just stare at each other in each other's eyes, and we just be with that person. And it's just so amazing because, I'll know when someone wants a hug. I'll know when someone doesn't want a hug. I know when someone just wants an arm around their shoulder. It's just nice. And then at the end, if I feel like offering, if I'm in a position to offer to help alleviate their situation, then I could say something, but that need to want to fix is just no longer there for me.
But see, even if I don't want to fix, like you're saying, if you listen, you know what to do, whether they need a hug. And we were talking earlier about a whole other different topic, but sex. But which is not well, it does have something to do with this. But the point is if you feel the energy of a person, and a lot of people walk around with walls too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And trust.
Sure.
People, I trust everybody. I do. I automatically, if I like somebody, I trust them.
Do you
Same.
think that's a trait of an empath? Because I'm the same way, and I have been questioning my instincts in that manner.
It's an empath with no screens and no filters. That's how
me.
we come naturally. And then we learn how to drop the screens. Just like when they
Right.
make a house, they make the windows. It doesn't have glass or screens. It's just an open hole. And that's what it becomes, and we let everything in. And I think what you were talking about earlier, sweetheart, is that a lot of times as empaths, when we're dealing with somebody, we're seeing the soul inside of them. We're feeling what's really going on in there. The problem is that's not necessarily how people process emotionally, because people are damaged. So in varying degrees of damage, we're all damaged in various degrees of
and
damage.
that's the thing. It's kind of like I know we're all damaged here, as you just said. We've
Sure.
all got our own shit. But I deal with my shit. I try to. I try not to let my shit go over to somebody else. Like, I'm a Capricorn. So for me, everything's always okay. Okay, you good? I'm great. I could be not. But I will never let anybody see that, because I don't want to impose any of that on someone else, because I don't know what they're doing. But yet, but then I'm also strong. But as you were saying, I don't really automatically think that people are damaged, because it's to degrees of to the degrees of damage, because I mean, if I'm damaged and I am dysfunctional, I know, I'm aware of it, and I try and work on it. And if I screw up, I mean, I blame myself because I screwed up. But it's to never stop trying.
But I think the empath is a little bit different in that what you were saying, we do see the inside. Like, you could just be an asshole to me, right? You could just be like huge rage or something, and I'm gonna go, oh my God, I see that little wounded child inside of you.
Exactly.
And then I take that little wounded child inside of me, and what I'm most concerned about for the empaths, we are so hard on ourselves, and we actually become physically ill. It's like flight or fight all the time, and your adrenaline levels are there all the time, and you can't wring that down. I mean, it takes a lot of self-introspection and a lot of work on ourselves, I think, to have boundaries that are even, I mean, I'm not even approaching healthy boundaries yet, and I've been working on this for almost
Plus,
a
when
year.
you're
Hold on, wait. Let's talk. I want to get back to boundaries, but we have a caller because boundaries are important. Hi, caller. Welcome to Between the Sheets. Who's calling and where are you calling from?
It's Wendy from Calabasas.
Wendy. How are you?
I'm very good. You guys are awesome tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What I know you want to say something, so go ahead. Let it rip.
Okay, so first of all, I want to agree with Kim in that we have to, as empaths, we do, and also Sheena, filters are very important, and boundaries. And I have found for myself, because I feel everything physically in my body, that if I don't have my boundaries up, I get sick. Yeah. And so we have to do that. And Gayanne, I'm going to disagree with you in that you said you just like everybody. You're an empath and you like everybody. I'm an empath and I don't like everybody. Right. As a matter of fact, I would say that I love everybody because, yes, you can see into their soul, if you will. However, that doesn't mean I'm going to like them. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of people I really don't like.
Right.
And that's okay.
It's okay.
Well,
it doesn't make me less of an empath.
No. But what I was saying is when I first meet somebody, I don't automatically, I give them all a chance. Yeah. I don't automatically, just by maybe a little, contact or whatever, going, I don't like that person. I go, maybe they're having a bad day. I always make excuses for, people's behavior. I always do, because there's always another side.
Okay. And I would not make an excuse for anybody. I would be reading someone's energy, and I will know pretty quickly if this is someone I want to be around or not. So I wouldn't make any excuses for anybody. They are who they are, and I choose not to be around quite a few.
So do I.
Yeah. Me too.
I do too now. Well, took a while.
I'm still, you know what?
Everybody's getting to the point where
I'm not there yet. Kim and I are not there yet.
What's hard about boundaries, and getting away from people you don't like or whatever, is that you can know that you need to set one, but if you're not used to setting them and they were never respected growing up, and it rocked the boat and all hell broke loose when you tried, then it's like, oh God, I know I have to set a boundary, but I just have to gain the courage to make myself do that, and it's really hard.
Well, especially with like family. You love
I
them,
would,
but you may not like them.
I would say that's a moment by moment practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, I had to set boundaries with all of my family members, every single one of them.
Well, and they don't get it right away.
It wasn't hard. I mean, it was hard, but it was something that I needed to do for my peace and something for my sanity. And I love them from afar, and I'll call them for holidays, and that's it.
I don't know. I don't know.
I have one like that.
Wendy, thanks for calling in, sweetheart.
Thanks,
Anything
Wendy.
else you want to tell us?
No, love you guys. Great
love you
show.
too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody, don't forget 323-524-2599. 323-524-2599. Call in. We want to hear what you have to say.
I think when you get to that place where you're fully connected to self, I think that's
Well, how the
when-
hell do you get there?
Just hang on.
Patience.
Agape Spiritual
First
Center.
of all, you get a tattoo that says patience.
Or
Put it in English so you can read that
Or
daily.
family.
Oh, it's in Japanese. I keep forgetting.
I think when you get to that super connected place,
Should've
you
been in
get to a
English.
place where you can approach everyone with an open heart, but with a little bit of that meerkat that stands outside the hole in the back saying, okay, well, I'm approaching everybody with an open heart. I'm not going to close off. I'm not going to become a crusty person who makes decisions before I know. But I'm also not going to let my soul explode if it turns out this person doesn't know how to receive me in a way that I am giving. And that's okay. Not everybody can receive what you're giving. Not everybody's supposed to be your tribe, and that's perfectly okay. You just have to discern who's your people and who's not your people. I mean, it's that easy. If somebody doesn't get you where you're at and you're doing a lot of work on yourself and you're proud of where you are, then that's not somebody who's supposed to be in your life right now. And maybe that person will find you later when they do the work or you do the work, or, you have to go with the flow, Gaye.
And that's perfect with what we were talking about earlier. We were talking about we consider everyone to be friends, but we really don't know that the person standing next to us, smiling at us and telling us hi and hugging us isn't a friend. They're waiting for us to fail. They're jealous of us.
See,
They're
I
waiting
guess-
for us to flop.
And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but if I don't like someone, if I don't go out of my way. Like if I don't like you, I don't like you. And I'm not going to make a drama of it because I can't stand drama. But it's like if you're at a party and I see you, it's like, hi.
Good.
It's not like, hi, look, kiss, kiss. No, why would I do that? That's retarded.
But not everyone's like that. So the, fake people, they can tell you hi and they can hug you and they're really not your friend. And for the empath, it's very important for us to learn and be able to distinguish who's our friend, who's not our friend. And
do we really need fucking friends?
well, yes, we do.
We need pets.
As
we
just
need
need our
dogs.
pets.
We need dogs, cats.
They're
That's all we
better.
need.
They're better
And
company.
As I was saying earlier, my best friend Elizabeth still to this day will tell me, be careful with your words. That person's not your friend. That person's
also
your
actions
your
speak
acquaintance friend, your party
You
friend,
know what someone
your
told me?
coworker.
You know what someone told me? Someone who was a friend of mine, and she just entered into a relationship, and it was the up and down, up and down, up and down for a while. And she said that her new partner, and now they're really together. It's not actions speak louder than words, and I thought this was wonderful. Actions have to match the words.
Yeah, then you're in
Oh, yeah.
alignment.
That's
with
Then
who you
you're in
are.
alignment.
That's right.
Because it's true. I mean, do you guys feel actions speak louder than words?
Well, if you turn the
they
volume
can.
down, volume down and just base your, base your judgment on what the person's showing you through how.
But
they're
how do you
acting.
how do you tell? Like I always thought I was a great bullshit detector. But how do you tell when someone's saying something to you?
That's why it's hard. You have to look at the actions that see if they match.
Well, and sometimes you can't. I mean, unless you're super close with that person, right? And maybe they are trying, and maybe they are getting better, and you can't fault them for that necessarily.
No, it's
you know
not
what
a
I mean?
fault.
Well, not everyone is a good communicator.
Right, that's
and
true.
some people will
very
do
true.
like the actions, not words of affirmation. What's the love language?
Mine is gift giving.
No,
everybody.
no,
So
not-
when your birthdays come along,
What's that
I'll be
word?
buying you
Gift
gifts.
giving, words of affirmation,
Mine's physical touch. That's
Physical
all I
touch.
know.
Just 5 of them.
And what's that? Acts of service.
Acts of service.
Acts of service. So a lot of people are acts of service. So they can't say, "Oh, I love you, I miss you, whatever." But they're gonna come home. They're gonna bake you your favorite thing when you come home. Like they show their love through acts of service.
Right.
So that's why actions speak louder than words. Because I can't tell you, yes, I'm on like every dating app on the planet, but
You are.
but
Did you try the Facebook one?
no, I
just
haven't.
saw that. I
The
put my
Facebook.
picture
She said
up, and
the
then I was like,
Facebook.
I
The
don't wanna do this.
Facebook one.
The
No,
Facebook.
but here's the thing, though.
You're gonna get
Everyone
75
can,
Nigerian wives.
yeah, it's like everyone can tell me, "Oh, I like you so much," and blah 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 blah, and I want to go out with you. But their actions show me the exact opposite, and I'm like, "Why am I even going to keep you in my life?"
Well, you just sleep with them and then you toss them away.
Actually, no. So then,
A widow, a black widow.
speaking
like-
of that, right? The ones that want to sleep with me, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let me see your STD report before we
Jesus.
sleep together. And this is what I hear
Have
every
STD
single time.
reports. Is that like a criminal
yeah.
record
Oh,
for
no.
sex?
Yes.
We have one now.
We have one.
Yes, we do.
So then this is what I always hear, right? Oh, I was just tested. I'm totally clean. I'm like, really? Did they test your you for herpes type 2? Oh, well, I don't think that's on it.
That's a fucking buzzkill.
And you know what?
I'd be like,
You
I don't
know
want
what
to
I
have sex with you
get?
anymore. Bye.
No, you know what I get?
Show the door.
I think that's just going to be too much hassle for me to go get retested.
You know what I'm going to do? You know what I think I'm going to do? A between the sheets checklist, and I'll send it to all of you. And then as you're dating someone, just email them that, and then they can reply back with an attachment of the form. And then when you're done with them, you can pass them to her, because they've already been checked out.
Seriously. I am not getting an STD from anyone.
I have never gotten STD report. I've never got any sort of disease in my life.
Like you would
Because
say
you
it
don't
if you
sleep
did.
with anybody.
I
you don't. You're a prude, you Capricorn.
I have a Leo rising and a Gemini moon. Don't
Well,
you get
clearly, you're not sleeping with anyone.
That Leo rising, you're not sleeping with anyone because you've run out of people.
Give me a fist bump.
Bam! Bam!
Why is our culture so obsessed with sex? I would really like to know.
Because sex is great.
No, because I would
No,
tell you it's
disagree.
I would tell you it's because it's taboo. That's why.
It's
Yeah.
not
It's
anymore.
not anymore.
It's
Not
like
anymore.
we're
No,
so
it still
desensitized
is.
to
It is.
sex.
I'm sorry.
And they
but
should
we
say
have
the
to-
Facebook.
I'm sorry, but it is. Until we have commercials on television with women washing their breasts with soap like they do in Europe,
Oh.
we're always going to have taboo.
I'm so
around
going to
sex,
Europe.
Around I've seen in
No,
Europe.
in Europe, they do it on TV.
Yeah, in Europe.
I mean, you're seeing them having sex stuff
I
on
saw
TV.
on the news. I saw
That's
a prostitute
great.
being interviewed having sex with a guy
Yes,
as
while
she's being interviewed.
God.
And I was like, it was
and
in
it
the
was
news
exactly
on
like,
Switzerland.
like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like her head was
Like, oh
bobbing
my-
up and down of the frame.
Wow,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
It
No,
was
we were
insane.
talking
I
about.
think that's great.
You know what? We were talking about sex.
Let's
the
talk
three-
about sex.
How do we tune into
baby.
that?
Well, you missed it, but you were there. Will you not remember? So, do you not remember?
You were getting
Oh, let's
somebody's
talk about
checklist.
Switzerland.
Yeah, too many checklists.
I want to tune into that.
But like I said to you earlier, and I think Kimberly and I kind of agree a little bit. It's you have the what? 10, are we going 10 date?
Yeah,
10
like,
date rule?
That used to be my rule. Like you wouldn't have sex until you at least had 10 dates. The thing is, like, women just
They're not doing it.
What they're not
That's
on
a
that.
long
I
time.
think
Oh my
that we
God,
get
that's an
too emotional
eternity.
together. I think as soon as the sex happens, man, you're in. I mean, maybe not you.
Yeah,
I am.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in because I
Because
already like you.
You're going
That's the
out
thing.
there and getting a cat.
That's exactly right. That's why.
I don't do the
seriously.
whole moving
That's
thing, but
why
like I
I
don't have sex with you until I know
Right.
I actually really could maybe have something with you.
Right, I agree.
I see.
And
I
I
think
have
that's
said that.
amazing.
No,
I'm
I
the
have
same.
said that to people. I have said, is this a friends with benefits? Because I'm not into that. And I'm like, because if I have sex with you, it's because I am looking to the big picture, whether it works out or not, but it's something I want to move forward to.
Well, hopefully you're dating somebody that would be honest
I'm not
with
dating
it.
anybody.
No, I'm
This
just saying
is-
that when you ask that friends with benefits question, hopefully they're forthcoming enough to tell you where they really feel, where
Well,
they really stand with you. you
With
know?
my ex, I told her I have no interest. I just want to be friends with benefits, and she said, "Great." And then, 5 years later, we bought a house together. So.
But I don't.
That's because you're a Pisces.
But
no,
I
it's because she's gay.
Yeah, she's gay. But I don't understand the friends. I really don't. I've never understood
Okay,
the friends with
let me
benefits.
explain
I know, I
this
don't
to
like it
you.
myself.
If you fuck,
Okay.
if you are fucking, at least for me,
Ooh,
said-
cuss jar.
you said-
I don't
biased.
care. I don't care. If you are, because look, if you're going to bed with somebody, I can't disassociate that from just getting a piece of ass. Because if I'm going to get in there, be vulnerable, show myself, and then orgasm, because I'll tell you right now, for me, this has to be working for this to work, for that to create a chain reaction. Okay, if this is not here and I'm overthinking this, that touchdown will not happen.
Once again, like I said before, you haven't had good sex.
I
will say
that's
that
the way she's
on every
wired.
single.
sorry.
That's
And
the way
I'd like
she's
to
wired.
just
I
say-
have had amazing sex.
And I'd like to just
I
say,
would-
not an Aries.
Not an Aries. I'm just gonna say this, okay? Yes, there is an emotional connection. You can have that deep emotional intimacy with somebody. And then there are other people like Aries that can shut that down and just have that physical attraction and have that booty call.
But
so,
Roxanne, I want to call you out on something.
Please do.
Just because you have a booty call and you're okay with having a booty call doesn't mean that you have had more amazing sex than I have without having
Who's
the booty
comparing?
call.
oh, no one said anything about you. It's just her.
Okay, but
I have made women come 3 and 4 and
Right.
5 times who have said they have never had done that before.
I
So
didn't.
don't
I
tell
didn't
me.
say you weren't good. They weren't doing it good to you.
Oh no, that's incorrect.
I'm so glad this show is about empaths.
It's called
you said it,
Between
Kim.
the Sheets.
Well,
we
there's
should be
another-
talking about that.
There's another category.
If we're
It's
talking
like-
about that, we should talk about squirting.
Oh God.
Okay,
no,
let's
go
talk
too
about
far,
squirting.
too
No,
far.
Let's do it.
Hey, this is my show.
all
Between the
This is
Sheets.
my show. I don't want to talk about squirting at all.
I would like to say also that just because you can separate and you can make your body work even if you do separate doesn't mean that you want to or that you have to.
Well,
because
say that again?
I can, but I don't want to. Like I don't have a weird thing where I have to be like all in it for everything to work. Everything will work,
Yeah.
but I choose not to ever do that with people unless I'm already invested
Yeah,
in it.
everything
what
will
I'm
work
saying.
because that's
For
what
me,
God
it's a
made
month.
vibrators.
Right.
Like it works.
Exactly. I've
I
had some
just-
great
yeah.
dates with myself.
I've
Yeah.
just been in this situation where I've been devastated to be used like that. Like it's some people, if it's a mutual thing and they don't care, they don't give a shit. That's fine. But like when you,
I have been used.
I don't like that feeling.
Oh, I just really love it. That's
I
why I
ju-
keep
I-
going back for more.
This is what I say. Use me and abuse me, because if I have great sex, even for a moment, that's great. I love it.
Okay.
I would rather, you know what? And I
Totally
would
different
rather
mindset.
use Hitachi. I would rather use Mr. Hitachi. I'd rather.
I'll buy you batteries for Christmas.
I've got 3. I just bought one because mine used to be wired. The old-fashioned ones was wired.
Really?
Yeah. Now they have it where you charge it like with a USB, and now instead of just off and on or high and low, it has the wheel.
Wait a minute.
So-
you had the old Hitachi one like from the 70s?
Yes.
Is that why your stuff costs $1,000 each?
You could get shocked from
That's the Swarovski.
Do you have- Gaye,
No,
don't
no,
use
I
it
have
in
a
the bathtub.
Swarovski dildo.
Do you have the
okay?
one that pulsates to music while you're listening to it?
Oh, that's awesome.
Are you
No,
serious?
I don't, but
There was
that's-
one like
That's
that?
Of course
awesome.
there
I never
is.
heard
Okay,
of
we're
that
going
one.
shopping after this.
Okay, you know what?
You
The
guys
one-
remember when
And when,
Yes,
when
we're
you
going.
play Adele, it cries.
Oh my God.
No, you
Fine
cry
dildo.
because there's no pulsating pulses coming with
Do you
Adele.
guys realize this
Really?
is the second
Really?
show in a row that we've talked about
Yeah,
dildos
let's
and
move on.
vibrators?
Good.
Let's-
It's
let's
between the
move on.
sheets.
No.
Let me say about empathy
Actually,
really quick.
someone, never mind. I won't even say it. Go ahead.
The reason that I have the rule where I don't sleep with people unless I've been dating them for a month is that I want to know what I'm getting into before I get into it. Because I'm an empath, I don't want to start taking people's stuff on.
That's
Because
true.
until I know what I'm getting. And the one time I didn't, the one time I let somebody cry and whine and please, 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 and I slept with somebody too fast was when I wound up with a raging narcissist that almost killed me. So I
No,
have to,
literally almost killed
almost
you.
literally,
Like, literally
in
almost
many
killed
ways
you.
almost
Oh,
killed me.
jeez.
So I have to use discernment before I allow my emotions to get into it and keep those filters up, because I can't just I can't, like Gaye said, once I'm in, and I don't want to be in that fast unless I know what I'm getting into.
Well, and I
I
think
get that.
too, if you are, I forgot.
There we go.
You know what,
It's
sometimes-
caused menopause, brain
No, that's
fog.
the- that's
Welcome
the
to my
pot.
world.
Speaking-
Oh, you're stoned.
No,
Right.
not
Okay.
right now.
Oh,
Just
okay.
Residual effects.
Speaking of
I have
empathy
a friend like that.
Yeah.
and dating,
Stop. We're going.
You
You
know,
know what? I love Mara.
I
She
have the
always
floor.
brings us back to the topic.
So she's got facts on
Go
her
ahead.
phone.
She has facts on her phone.
I
Go
just
on,
wanted
Wifey.
to know. I'm
Go
not
ahead,
looking at the phone.
Poindexter.
What I'm saying is being an empath and having so much empathy for people.
You're going to end up in Kim's lap in a minute.
Well, I
What's going on over there?
With the
my
Valentine's
God.
colors.
I know you have the Valentine's colors.
Valentine's colors.
Yo, look, I need some. Okay, just saying.
I almost avoid dating because I don't like getting into those situations because I have empathy for people where I'm going to have to reject them. Isn't that terrible? Like I get
No.
rejected just as much, but I don't like the awkwardness of like you've met someone and now they've got their heart is given to you, and it's like, oh crap, I don't feel that way, and so I kind of like just avoid it. I guess that's getting into avoidance and that whole thing with pushing all
But
that.
who does that anymore? Who gives their heart to somebody anymore?
Lots of people.
Oh, a lot of people.
Lots of people.
A lot of
like,
people.
And
No one that I talk to. And I talk to a lot.
I do, and I
you're
do it
talking to 'em all on Tinder.
unconditionally.
Right.
I do it, and I do it unconditional love. And my biggest fear is rejection.
But it's everyone's biggest fear. Like every time
Oh,
I talk to somebody,
no.
everyone tells me
Bullshit.
they have a fear of
I'm going
rejection.
to tell
Yeah,
you
but
bullshit.
Everyone on the
Bullshit.
planet that I've
It's the-
spoken to
no,
tells
but there's
me
a
that.
difference between the way some people deal with it, because nobody likes to be rejected.
Nobody does.
Okay, but some people go, "Oh, I'm rejected." Oh well, and some people go rejected and get a tailspin, and that's me.
I would rather be rejected. Well, I think this, but there's many times where when I've hurt somebody else, it is so painful to me. I would
Empathy.
rather be the other person. And I would be the person getting dumped but they're both horrible. But like for me as an empath, it is just awful to be the one that has to break someone or tell someone I just don't feel the chemistry.
See, now I've always been on that role. I've always said, but I've always done it with love. Always done it with love. And
still
everyone
sucks.
I've done it to, when you sit down and you talk like adults to someone, especially someone you're in a relationship with, and you get to that point, they know too. You're not the
I
only
once
one that's
dated-
making that decision. At least
Sometimes they put your bunny in a pot.
maybe.
What?
But I
you
would.
serious?
But
God,
again,
no, that's
but then
a
if we're
movie,
going to talk
hopefully.
about that,
Yes, for the 30-year-olds, that's a Fatal Attraction reference.
Fatal Attraction, and one thing for the Fatal Attraction thing, why would you sleep with Glenn Close when you had Ann Archer? Who the hell would do that?
Because she was freaky and she had all that hair and she wore a coat
because-
with nothing underneath.
Because crazy is
I'm
good.
going to tell you something. When
Crazy's
I,
good.
Crazy.
When I met Ann Archer in person, I literally sat there and my mouth dropped, and I was completely in love with this woman. She was gorgeous. So I thought, oh, Glenn Close, not so much.
No, I think she's just supposed to be like, she's freaky. She's not supposed to be. A lot of people
Yeah.
want like
She's
a
super
partner at
freaky.
home, and then they want this freaky,
Freak in the
crazy
sheets.
thing that they can't have. And crazy people come on like $1 million. Like, look,
Yeah.
you can do anything you want to me.
That's
you can do
great.
this. You can do that. And then suddenly the next thing you know, your rabbit's in a pot.
Nice. Okay.
Just be careful.
Thank God I don't have a rabbit.
That's why you have to be careful, especially if you're an empath. You have to be careful not to get involved with people too quickly.
And hide your pets.
Oh,
323-524-2599. 323-524-2599. I understand, but what I'm saying,
Slow.
I know I've always been told to calm my jets. Because when I've met someone that I really, really like and we get along and it's working, then I go nuts, man. And I know it.
Yes.
And then they tell me. And then they said boundaries. I don't have boundaries. And then I think, oh my God, I'm being rejected. Please don't leave me. But
That's kind of why I avoid the whole thing. I just do my own thing and just that's
paint.
bad. Yeah, I just paint, but that's not, and make videos, but that's not good because that's somebody who's avoiding intimacy because they're scared of not being able to handle it.
No, I think it is good though, because I think if the right person came along that was open and honest and ready to go slow and not trying to make you change your whole life in 5 minutes and not playing games with you, I think you would open right up and be fine.
That's probably true. I haven't met that person yet, but also I think it's all about timing, and I'm not at the point in my life where I'm ready to meet that person yet. So
Then
it's
perfect.
definitely
Timing
yeah.
is key.
Yeah. And I almost did put my picture up on the Facebook dating app when I saw that today, and then I was like, oh God, I just don't want to. I don't know.
I did not, but a friend of mine actually did. A friend of mine did, and because she put
going on
woman
it right now.
She did.
Where
no,
is
no,
it
no,
at? Are you
don't,
going
no,
on
no,
the
please don't. No, seriously, don't.
All of a
She
sudden we'll
put-
hear like ding, ding,
No, no,
ding,
no.
ding, ding, as
She
they all
did-
start coming in.
She did women and women,
Okay.
but they don't have a big pool, so you get mostly
but-
guys.
Tinder's like
You mean
that.
like past, like male to females?
No, like real men with a dick, and proud of it. And then all of a sudden she like deactivated or deleted it because it was too weird. And all of a sudden, like yesterday and today, like 15 friend requests from people. And then because she always
Friend
okay,
requests or-
yeah, friend
Because
requests.
it's Facebook.
Because let me tell you something. She says to me every day before she did this Facebook thing, she would get Facebook requests, and she'd like take a screenshot and send them to me. Do you know any of these women? And I'm like, yeah, they're Facebook friends. I'm like, she goes, who are they? I don't know.
But I
They're
don't
just
know.
Facebook friends. And she's like, because they've all friended me. She goes, damn it. You know, because of my association with you, I'm getting all these friend requests. I said, well, some of them are cute. Why don't you friend them back? I'm not interested, but friend them back. But after she got off of Facebook, she got all these crazy requests. And then she, of course, screenshotted it to me. I didn't know who the hell they were. They were not my friends. So those are people in Russia and Korea and wherever the hell they are that are doing spamming or whatever, they're hacking or whatever.
people.
I mean, now it makes me think that the Facebook dating app could have repercussions too about getting hacked and stuff. Like
There's a Facebook dating app?
Yeah.
I
that's what they're
saw
talking
Okay,
it.
Earth to Delicious.
Roxanne signed up
Delicious.
right now.
I'm signing up right now.
She's
I'll let you know in
signing up
5
right
minutes.
now on the
Just
show.
saying.
She's signing up right now.
I'm with Mara. I'm not ready to
I
want to
do it as a
dating app
social
yet.
experiment. We should all do it just as a social experiment.
I'm not doing it.
I'm going to do it to see what
I think
happens,
it's
and I'll report
dreadful.
back.
I think
Are you
it's
on it?
not
Who's
on
on a
Facebook.
real dating app?
I've never been on one.
I am.
I'm on
Of
one.
course, you were the.
I swipe left on Tristan all the time when I go.
You know what I love?
Every time it's a friend, I'm like, right.
You know what? I do the same thing when I'm there.
I always
find
swipe right on my
friend.
friends.
I'll send them like a happy smile, a heart.
I do. I'm like, hey, hot mama, how you doing? When are we going out?
This is what Roxanne says to me. She goes, how come I haven't seen you on the site yet? And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, oh, I've got my filter set too low. I have to make the age group bigger.
Yes, I usually date youngins, but I raised my age group and I found you, and we matched because, hey, at least she swipes white for me. Mara.
What's your age group?
Well, now
She's
it's like
expanded for me.
21 through 56. I stopped at her age.
Oh my God.
Good range.
21.
21.
You're down to
Hey,
21.
they just have to be legal. Legal.
They're legal at
Obviously,
18.
she's not discriminating. Here's my
I don't
age.
discriminate.
Okay, here's my age range, and that is why I haven't dated anybody on the site. 55 to 62.
But that's why you're not finding it. You need to have a big range.
Yeah.
Not only that,
62.
but
That's all I want. That's all I want.
Tristan told me, okay, she told me this. See, or not Tristan, I'm sorry, I meant Roxanne. Roxanne.
Thank you, love.
You're welcome.
Love you, wifey.
Oh, God. Roxanne told me that, because once in a while I'll go on them to see
Yeah.
if there's anyone there.
They're the same ugly people.
But yeah, I know. But the thing is I guess I have to lie about since I'm 44, okay, almost 45. If I put my real age like I do, I guess some of the girls that are like 35 won't see me because they don't put up to my age.
Well, that means you shouldn't be dating them.
Because they don't want to date someone.
Because then what you
Yeah,
date
that's
them,
true.
you go out on a date and then you like break the news. Hi, I'm
No, because
45.
a lot of people, what they do, and I just saw one woman that put her age as 40, and then the very first line in her profile is, "I'm really 49."
No way.
So at least she came up on their
Yeah.
feed. She's banking on the fact that she's going to be hot enough to catch their attention, and they're going to, okay, who cares then?
But Was she?
Well, you know me, I don't.
You don't even like them if they're not. But you know what? I should pass you some of mine because I like
We could
feminine.
pass.
Yeah, we could pass. I like
Yeah.
feminine. Usually,
Sharon is caring.
I like feminine, light eyes, blonde hair. I do. I like makeup. That's
I didn't
my
know you
type.
like blondes.
I do. I like dirty blondes and blondes. But
Me
anyway.
too. Ditto.
Ditto. So the thing is, I sit there and I mean I go off and on every once in a while, but I specifically put exactly what I'm looking for. So either the people that are reading are ignorant and they are really can't read, but I get all these fucking butches.
Well, I think that
you'd like
They don't
them.
read.
No, not necessarily. Just because I like butches doesn't
think
mean
they're
I'm going to
just-
like
No, some of them are
every butch.
hot. Some of them are like
I
boyish.
think they're just trying. I mean, I think
I
people
think what
see
you said,
something
they
they
cast a
like,
wide net.
Yeah.
They
and
just
they don't
go for it.
think they don't read the whole thing first. They just think, oh, I like this
nobody
person.
reads.
Nobody
I like
reads.
this
Nobody
I don't
person.
even
reads.
bother
I
filling
don't.
mine out.
I swipe
Oh,
left, right,
you know.
and then
Oh,
if we
pretty
match,
woman, and they swipe.
then I'll read. And then I'm like, oh my god,
Is that Tinder?
Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge are the
Hinge?
only ones I'm on now.
These.
And now, according
No, bum. I know
That's the
them.
new
now,
thing.
Yeah.
now Facebook, and now it's a secret crush.
get a
I can add someone
21-year-old.
I'm
She really
interested
did
in
sign up.
as a secret crush.
You know what I want? I want a dating app that I can date firefighters or cops. That's it.
Oh, and I want
And
one.
I've been looking. They
There
don't
should
have
be
it.
one
I
of
want one where the
I'd be on
criteria
there.
is not
Whoa.
crazy, not a narcissist, and not going to suck out my soul one day
Oh,
at a
that's
time.
not
Wait
a
a
cop
minute.
then. No
Wait a
cops
minute.
for you.
Crazy's the best in bed, though. You can't be Xing those out.
No, because
Necessarily.
they stay
Yeah, they
forever.
are.
You know what amazes me about you, Roxanne? That you're so superficial.
That's not superficial.
Not at
Crazy's
all.
good in bed. Everyone gets a shot.
I just can't believe you get them to go
I'm
home.
an equal employee opportunity.
Yeah, but does Crazy send you the checklist of the STDs and all that
Oh
stuff?
fuck yeah! I don't touch anyone
No,
without that.
Crazy would make up the checklist and give it to her.
Right.
Of
Oh
course.
no! It has to be from the doctor.
You just put a line down the
You
no
can do
column.
things
Here
with
you go.
computers nowadays.
Hey, someone, please help us get back on track. 323-524-2599.
Between the
323-524-2599.
You can't leave us alone too
No,
long.
not at all. So let's continue. Because
Should
I
I
know
add
we
a
have
credit
sort of spoken, we had spoken off and on about empathy and empaths. I mean, and we talked about boundaries, and we all
Very
struggle-
important.
Very.
So, how do you begin?
Filters, which are like a softer boundary. You don't have to actually, to me, a boundary is like a fence that you put up. You don't have to necessarily do that. You just put filters so that you sort of filter what input comes through. And then if somebody turns out to be somebody that needs a boundary, then they need one. But I think a lot of times what empaths do is we flip the switch from not enough filters to then these hardcore boundaries where the wall comes down around us and we build a moat around the wall and we're letting nobody in. But then we're not really doing what we're put here to do. I mean, empaths are here to feel what other people feel so that we can translate that and help, whether we do it as artists or in the medical
Very
profession
true.
or whatever it is. So if we put that wall down, then we're not who we're supposed to be. So the idea is to be able to put the filters up to guard ourselves from people who do want to suck your life force out or do want to take what my mom used to say, take your half out of the middle, without becoming this person of stone that no longer lets anybody in. And then we don't let ourselves love.
What's an example of a filter? Can you
Yes.
give us an example?
Well, I use the example when I teach that it's like when you pour the spaghetti in the colander and you let the water go out and you keep the spaghetti. So as you're getting all this input, you're keeping the things that resonate with your heart properly and with your soul, and you're tucking them inside, and the rest of it you're just literally letting go in one ear and out the other. You take it in and you let it go.
You're talking about when you're listening to somebody's problems
or feeling their problem.
You let yourself choose what
Right.
you're going to take in and what you're not
Yeah,
going to.
yeah. When you
if
take it
can,
all
yeah.
in when you're an empath, you
Right.
can't help with that.
Right.
You take it all in,
But what you
then
dwell
you
on.
let other stuff just immediately go if you don't need it.
Well, and-
I think that's so important because otherwise you're holding on to all this stuff. And then I always use the example when I teach, and this is probably awful, but what if you ate for 5 days and never went to the bathroom? I mean, your body would
You're
get
going to
toxic.
explode.
It's the same thing. If you take in everyone's energy and you don't ever let anything out, then you get toxic, and that's not a good place to be.
No, and that's very, very true that happens. And I know maybe a lot of people that are listening don't know how to necessarily create a filter. So do you have suggestions
Yeah.
for people that if they don't know they're an empath, they may not know how to create a filter?
Like how to
Correct.
put that protection up for themselves.
themselves.
Yeah.
Well, think of your chakras, because I know Gaye likes chakras.
Well, I'm going to get tattoos of my chakras.
Okay.
On your chakras?
On my
I know.
chakras.
Wow.
You are
A
not.
friend of mine
You are
suggested
not.
I should get chakra tattoos.
Wow. Are we all going to get to see the sacral one? Is that going to be in between the sheets?
Wait, what's the sacral one? Is that
That's
your
the one that-
Is that your anus?
Yeah.
Way down there.
Anus.
Anus.
Chakras are in the front, not the back. What the hell are you talking
In
about?
2 weeks on Between the Sheets, Gaye's anus. It's a tribute to Switzerland.
Yes, and everyone, please bring your $300 butt plugs.
And your My Little Pony butt plug.
The corded Hitachi ones from
I'm
1974
blushing,
that
okay?
smoke.
I'm blushing.
I can't believe I said anus, but of something just what do you call it? The sacra?
Sacral chakra.
It reminded me of scrotum.
And she's gay, people. All right, so let's stop the sex and let's get to the
So
right-
anyway, if you start to feel things, so here's your crown, right? And
Right.
your third eye and your throat and your heart and your solar plexus and your root and your sacral. If you are spending a short amount of time with someone and you're immediately starting to feel like I've got a headache or I have a tension headache between my eyes or my
sick
heart feels
stomach.
weird, I'm sick to my stomach, I feel like I have to go to the bathroom. I mean, these are all clues that something's coming in that you're not letting out. Something's wrong with that person. So you need to just breathe it away. And I sort of imagine it like literally the waves come and the waves go, right? I grew up at the beach, so the water comes in and the water goes out, and you just take what they're saying or how they're feeling and you just let it go. It's so important. I mean, if you got to imagine, Idina Menzel
These
singing
two
it,
gals are dying.
do it. Gaye's still thinking about how she's going to get her butthole tattooed.
I
how that actually
we should get the
works.
bleaching. Didn't we talking about bleaching
Anal
the butthole?
bleaching. Okay.
Just watch a Chloe and Kim episode
Stop.
from Kardashians.
Stop.
They
You've
go
got to
into
find
that.
a really detailed tattoo artist
This
to put
is
a little symbol
God
of Japanese.
damn it! This is a serious show.
This is right now anal bleaching.
sorry. my
If you want to
immaturity.
talk, if you want to talk anatomy with Mara, 323-524-2599.
You show me yours, I'll show you mine.
We'll do that after the show.
Stop.
Gay's going first.
I say some pretty far out shit sometimes, and I don't mean to. It's just I
It's
think I
the
talk
charm.
before I.
It's
I
the
think
charm.
I don't think.
You're a charming
I'm
girl.
a charm. That's so charming.
So speaking of, when people, so you're saying that's from an empath point of view.
Well, it's from an everybody point of view. Empaths are just like everybody to the nth power. They just have tons of empathy, but it works for anybody. Don't take on other people's stuff. I mean, if somebody seems like somebody, or some people, you literally can feel them pulling at your solar plexus chakra when you spend time with them. It's what my mama used to call sucking the air out of the room.
And she'll ask him out on a date.
Well, that's okay.
Because she's like,
As
lower,
long
lower.
as they show me their STD report.
Because she knows how to filter it out. So her biggest concern is not filtering out energy. Her biggest concern is filtering out germs. Everybody has a different level.
Wait, it starts with the germ. Wait, no, it starts with the energy and then it goes to the germs.
I'd have to say germs is pretty up there for me too.
Germs is really high.
Germs,
Just
yes.
saying.
Yeah, germs.
STDs too.
But it's also like if you
my
spend time with
God.
somebody and you just feel exhausted.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
afterwards.
Yes.
Oh, or the way I always feel like if you're when that person leaves and you're like and you feel like
Yeah.
flying, you're so happy.
I always get that. This is my problem. I don't get that with a lot of people because I'm kind of jaded and I do have a wall. I really do.
Yeah, you do.
And I don't let people in.
You don't.
I don't. It's only really I could sit there and say there's only probably been like let's say in this year 2 people that I've let into my wall. 2.
I appreciate that.
Well, you guys have been, but I'm talking about like in a different
Right,
space.
right.
2 people. And because when I've been with them, it's been really fun and euphoric and it made me feel different. You know, it made me feel even good about myself and
It's
you
like
know
a high.
it's a high. And you know, my assumption was they were getting a high too. But it was just, you know, and so I became vulnerable. And you know, and then I pour it all out because that's what we do. It's like, okay, you want to get to know me. I mean, you're not asking any questions, but I think I'll tell you because you need to get to know me. Because most people call me weird, eccentric, crazy, quorky.
Crazy's good.
None
Quirky.
of those are a bad thing.
Yeah,
I don't think
love
so.
crazy.
I am
Crazy's
excited
good,
about
yeah.
it. But then, I would rather be like that than like fit in that mold of everybody else.
Absolutely.
So I don't mind. I relish when people call me odd, you know, but it is, you know, and so when you feel that for someone, then I just kind of let it go because the wall comes down because I just have had that wall up for so long that it's very rare when I'm connecting with someone that it's like for real. And then it is.
I just think you let it down too quick. I think that and I used to be this way as an Aries, right? Because we're like puppy dogs.
Yeah,
I was
we
like,
are.
oh, look, the most wonderful thing. You ever seen that thing on, they pass it around on Facebook where the dog's like, oh, getting a bone, my favorite thing. Oh, getting punched in the face, my favorite thing. And the cat's like, the humans have had me trapped for 4,000 days. I think that cats kind of have it right in some sense because when you approach everything like, oh, I like somebody, therefore this is going to be wonderful. You're not taking into account
But what if it is?
how much emotionality they can take in. Well, there's nothing wrong with going super slow until you find that out because most people are not as open as you. You know, you go from this to woo, wide open, and most people open up a little tiny bit at a time and they get overwhelmed because you've opened up so fast because a lot of times people who open up that fast are crazy and dangerous people who want to open up to you really fast and then they start turning your life around and making you hate yourself.
Is that true? Because I open up like crazy. To
But it's
people.
not
I don't think I'm
everybody.
crazy.
It's not everybody.
It's
but
okay if we're all
but
crazy.
it's-
little
Crazy's
crazy.
good.
It's not everybody's like that.
We're
but
not
it's sometimes-
sociopaths.
That's why people get nervous, I think, when because sociopaths do that. I think that's why people get nervous sometimes if you're too open too quickly, because they've been burned by people.
But do
and
you
they're
think
scared.
that maybe traumatized kids maybe have that same thing where they're a little bit more vulnerable and a little bit more open because
Sometimes.
they're wanting to have the love?
I think
that
it
they
can go
didn't
either
get?
way. I think they can either become more open like that, or they can become more closed off and distrustful of everyone. And if you get two of those in a relationship together, that's where you have to find the place where you can meet in the middle, and you can find that common ground where you're not scared of the opening and you're not freaked out by the closing, and nobody feels insecure, and everybody can find their way. And that's what I was saying. We were saying at the beginning about everybody's damaged. I mean, everybody carries their own baggage, and you have to find a way to make everyone's baggage resonate with yours.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes because those of us that have worked in the entertainment industry, we're go-getters, and you have to lay it on the line or you won't get the gig. And then we get into relationships and we sort of treat it the same way. And we're always auditioning for the relationship. Like me.
Let me prove myself. Let me prove myself.
Right.
Let me prove myself.
That
and I do
scares
that.
the shit out of some people.
Yeah, but
Because-
those aren't the people that are right for us.
I
People
agree.
like us.
Exactly.
I disagree. I disagree because I have had relationships with people that are complete opposite from me.
That's okay.
And they're complete opposite, and it's worked. It has worked. Now, mind you, it had a, what is it called, an expiration date.
Right.
Okay, but it's okay to have an expiration date because people grow, people change, people want things. Like, at some point in my life, everything just came at me at once. The podcast, the radio show, LA Pride, managing the motels, managing the Berlin. I mean, I had like 7 things on my plate, plus my job. And I was so excited because I thought everything's coming at once. I can't turn anything down because these were things that were on my hypothetical bucket list. And the relationship that I was in, I took a lot of time at that point away from the relationship to do what I needed to do. They were very supportive of me and continue to be, and they are still in my life now, but they didn't want to ride the merry-go-round with me. So as adults, we chose to go separate ways. But I think if you have respect and care about someone, you can sit down, no matter if you're 21 or 51 or 81, to have this conversation. I'm looking at Kim. To have this conversation, to sit there and say, these are my needs. These are your needs. Our needs used to be equal. They're not now. I still love you, but the relationship, it's not there anymore.
Definitely. And all I know is at my age, I choose to date people that are open and communicative and just fun and loving,
but you
like
don't
myself.
fucking know. See, that's what the thing Sheena's saying. There are people that if they like you, they will tell you and work you what you want to hear.
No, but that's where the empathy comes in, because then the intuitive part of me will come out to feel the other person, to see where they're coming from.
Okay, hold on. We have a caller. Hello. Tell me when. Hi, everybody. Everybody. You're having a watch party, aren't you? This is Gaye. Welcome to Between the Sheets. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello.
Bonsoir, c'est Morgane, Gaye. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Bonsoir.
Who's calling?
It's Morgane.
Oh, Morgane. You know Morgane? Oh, no. How are you? I mean, I figured the French thing, but I'm like, I love my French girls. How are you, sweetheart? It's been forever.
I know. I miss you. And I'm relishing watching, when I'm able, your podcast.
Thank you.
And to tell you the truth, I don't have that kind of time in my life to watch a lot of people, but you are deserving, or how may I say, I'm intrigued. I love it. I respect you. I admire you. I revere you, and I love it. I love it.
Are you still single?
And are you between
Guess
the ages of
what?
55 and 62?
Yes, I am.
No.
Yes, I am. And
Are you still singing?
Yes, I am.
You can promote your
For
next
private
gig,
events.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't sing. I don't sing in clubs. You know, it's too much work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you have to fill the room in, and you make a cup. You know, now I just sing for exclusive. You know, remember I opened the Walt Disney Concert Hall.
I know you did.
Thank you. But I wanted to address. I did not. I was eating dinner. Pardon me, while I was watching your podcast. But there's a lady that's an empath, and I am an empath myself. And I was admiring what she was, sharing with us. But I wanted to explain. I'm not a funny person because French humor is sarcastic. So as a speaking in English, I never come across as funny because it's sarcastic. So I muted my humoristic aspect of myself. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to say that we have way more chakras than we know. And I studied metaphysics at La Sorbonne, which is, the Harvard, the highest university in France. And when you're an empath, I absolutely am with, what's her name, Gaye, the lady?
Sheena?
The empath?
Sheena,
thank you.
Hi.
Hi, Sheena. I absolutely agree with you that we need to, create boundaries. And I was just eating spaghetti, by the way. You said the word spaghetti.
I hope you let the dirty water go run out the bottom. Don't hold it in, baby. Don't hold it all in.
with sun-dried tomatoes.
Oh, good. Those you can eat.
I thought the synchronicity was perfect.
Nice.
And I'm happy because I've been trying to call in to your podcast. So I feel blessed and I love synchronicity. But in any case, back to being an empath, some people mix sympathy with empathy. Empathy, because we are one nuclei that exploded into this world. Some of us have the capacity, the electrical capacity of feeling exactly the pain, exactly the emotions, physical, mental, soul, etc. You know where they've been, but some of us, it's just not possible to shut it off. And I'll tell you why, because there's another chakra, which is represented in Jesus. It's on top, the crown. And there's a 9th chakra, there's a 10th chakra. It just goes up all the way.
Is there one on the rear side that's called the anus for Mara? Does it swing around to the other side?
Tattoo it
With anal bleaching.
And does it have a cord?
And let's get a tattoo on that too.
The cord comes
Honey,
out
that
of your anal
tattoo,
chakra.
babe, you could just put it right on top of the pubic hairs.
There you go.
Shave it down. And then
On the air.
I don't need to look at your buttocks.
I don't even know where.
No one's going to look at my buttocks, so I'm glad we got that out of the air.
I thought that was on next week's show.
We're gonna show and tell after this show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Make sure you when you go to the
There isn't a
restroom,
chakra in
clean
the
that
anus?
area real good.
But Morgan, you're right. There are many, many, many chakras. I just mentioned the basic 7 to help people understand. But you're right. Our whole body is like a whole bunch of little chakras, the same way that it's nerve impulses, that it's electricity. I mean, there's a lot going on in us.
Then there's definitely one in the anus.
We are golden.
Absolutely.
Never mind.
And
Morgan?
Cher, you know what I did? I did cut myself off.
Don't do that, sweetheart.
The last serious relationship, which I was pregnant with, was a gay man, kind of bisexual, but I believe somewhere down the line, I'm French, so I've been there, done
Well, there we go.
Let's say no more.
Yeah.
And so I analyzed at the end of, not at the end, but at a certain point in my life, being with women, being with men, being with a few together.
You are French.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's a barometer, it's like a barometer, it goes from, straight, and then the needle goes all the way to gay.
Yes. It's a spectrum.
And a big portion of us humans, are somewhere in that barometer. Some of them, the needle's totally gay. Some, and then the needle moves and it changes with the hormones. And yes, menopause. I mean, when I came into my premenopause and during the menopause, I was masturbating. So
With sound effects.
Now?
Yes.
Is that happening now?
Is that something is
You're
that something
French, and for a
like
minute I thought that was happening right
That
now.
sounds pretty real, doesn't it?
Oh, I like to know it. You got to rock the boat. It's
Good enough for the French news. It's good enough for us.
Hey, Morgane, we have to wind
Yes, my
down the
love.
show, my love, but you can call up next time, or maybe you can actually come in and sing for us. I'd love that.
Bring all your
Oh, I
chakras,
didn't
baby.
mean to sing. I'm sorry.
No, you can't
But
sing. I didn't mean to
love
cut you off from
y'all.
saying I love you too.
I love your show.
Thank you.
I love
Thank you.
the humanity, the humor, and thank you for waking up my kundalini.
Merci
Oh.
beaucoup.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Merci
Yes.
beaucoup.
Our Kundalini
Namaste.
honors your
Bonsoir.
Kundalini.
Bonsoir, ladies.
Bonsoir.
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 Okay, we're still on, aren't we, Tony? Yeah, okay. Just, I wasn't sure if you just cut us off.
It's over when the French lady sings.
Thanks. No, I am. Yeah, Morgane, I've known for 30 years. For 30 years, although she's only 25, you know.
sure.
But so not wrapping up because we were on about 10 minutes late. So can we go to 8:43? Thank you, Tony. So kind of wrapping up stuff. So with an empath, what are the key points that an empath has to work on, or to sort of protect themselves and
Yeah.
not damage relationships, not fuck up things.
The most important thing is connection to you. The more connected you are to you, the less you will be susceptible to going places that are dangerous for you. The more you know yourself, the less you're going to believe malarkey that people are throwing at you. The more your discernment level goes up to tell. And not only that, but also your spiritual resonance identification to know who's a good person in my life and who's not. Because there isn't really... I mean, there are some people that just are bad, but for the most part, they're not bad people or good people. They're just people that are good or bad for you.
Right.
So if it's somebody that's not right for you, then you just know to say, hey, you know what? Like my best friend likes to say, namaste away. Like, I wish you love and light, but not here. And then you live your life and they live their life. And if you see them at a party, it can be hugs and kisses and then everybody goes their own way. It doesn't have to be this whole white knuckling thing. The less you let yourself get involved with people that you haven't figured out if that resonance is right, then the more there's fighting and arguing and drama. And that's not good for anybody's soul. I mean, that just tears us all apart. So it's really about taking your time, building a foundation of finding out who you are. And then connecting to higher power, if that's your thing. If it's not, connecting to the world. Even if it is your thing, also connect to the world. And then when you start to connect to people, new people in your life, just feel it out. Your gut tells you when something is wrong. You just don't listen.
Agreed.
No.
It does.
No.
It does.
It does.
Nope.
Your gut always does. You
Nope.
don't- You choose
It
not
does.
to listen.
You
And
just
a lot
don't
of times
listen.
we don't listen.
Because you're a stubborn Capricorn, you don't listen.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Yep.
no.
Yep.
It's I know what's right and I know what's wrong and I know how I feel.
But even when I say what's wrong, it doesn't even necessarily mean that person is wrong. It can just be a behavior is wrong.
Right, but you
A
can
way-
work on behaviors.
Absolutely,
Thank
you can.
you.
You can, but
Because
you-
my parents, they fought all the time and they stayed together and they were in love. So I guess, you know what? I don't know. Maybe it's about what you grew up with too.
Sure.
I mean, my parents, they argued a lot. I mean, there was no violence, nothing like that, but they argued all the time. So I guess for me, a pattern of arguing with someone.
means love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, if we argue, it's okay because in the end, we'll make up, which is, well, but it worked for my parents
That's
for
great, but
53
it
years.
doesn't work that way for everybody.
Were
A
they Virgos?
situation that works for someone, do you know?
Two Geminis, thank you.
okay, never mind.
I was raised by 4 parents.
I
Oh
mean,
my God, never mind, there are
my
4.
relationship with everybody in this room is energetically different. I mean, everybody, it's all different. You can't expect what works for one person or for you in a different situation to work in the next situation.
I guess my biggest issue is I think I need to, and maybe it is ego to some degree. I think I really, truly need to listen. And I really do. I think a lot of times where things go sour in personal relationships, friendships, work, is because I don't listen. I think I listen, but I really don't, because talking about you're not really listening. You're trying to figure out what the deal is. And I think I have to listen because I think people get pissed off because I'm giving them a solution to something that they just want to be heard.
Yeah. And you have to let other people make the decisions and come around to things in their own time and decide what's right and what's wrong. Two people working with each other, whatever kind of relationship it is, family, friend, lover, relationship, work, it's two people. So everybody has to find a way to meet in the middle, and no two relationships are the same because no two people are the same. So you have to give the other person a chance to figure it out. If you're a person that automatically has it all figured out and you know what you want, you have to wait until that other person who maybe doesn't know what they want, figure it out. Otherwise, they feel like they're being pressured because they don't feel like they've been given time to figure it out for themselves. You know?
Yeah, and that happens not only with relationships, but just any personal, any relation, anything, friends, whatever.
Absolutely. It can be overwhelming to people when you really know what you want.
And I'm real supportive. I mean, are you guys real supportive of people?
Yeah.
Like I go above and beyond, and it's okay because I like to do that. But I go above and beyond to be really supportive of people. I think we should.
But I think even
Definitely.
that scares people sometimes.
It does.
Because I think if people are scared to get close, they're also scared if you're being supportive because they think, well, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, yeah.
You don't know me and now you're supporting
Yeah.
me. And it happens to me all the time. I'm sure that's happened to all of us that are empaths that are very supportive.
Or they just have fear of commitment and
Yeah.
they see that you're committed and it scares the crap
Right.
out
On
of them.
any level. They think, I had worked at a place once and I had a boss pull me in and he said, okay, so don't do so much because you're making us all look bad. And I laughed because I thought it was a joke.
I've
and
had
he was
somebody
like,
tell
he was
me
like,
that
no,
too.
really. No,
Yeah.
really. Don't do so much because if anybody catches on, we're all going to be expected to do it. So I learned that my whole give 150% and go from 0 to 70 in a second and a half, I had to learn to calm that down.
Me too, even at work. Because I would, if I was given a task, I'd do it right away.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Are you done? Yeah. Now what do you want me to do? I mean, now what? And it's like, no. And I agree with you. So I had to learn to sort of.
You need to learn how to half-ass life.
Well, thank God. What?
You guys need the skills of knowing how to half-ass stuff.
Should we learn it from you?
She's just stuck on. She's stuck on ass tonight.
Do you mean half anus?
You might want to get on this Facebook dating app. By the way, I already have matches, and there's a secret crush. If you have a crush on me, let me know.
Oh,
Then it's not a secret.
that's 17 dates already.
Forget it. Anyway, do we have any final thoughts? Anyone? Any final thoughts? Hold on, I'll do my sexy voice. Hey, anyone need final thoughts for tonight?
I do.
Ooh, that sounds good.
I think that if you just get really into what you're all about and what turns you on and lights your fire, meaning it could be anything, something that makes you get really absorbed and forget where you are at the moment. The more you get involved in yourself and things that don't depend on people, the better. The less you care about all this other
And to stay true to
stuff.
yourself throughout.
Yeah.
Kim, what would you like to impart on us with your infinite wisdom?
Infinite wisdom.
Infinite wisdom.
There are days I'm wise and there are days I'm just not. What I'm really, really trying to do is what you were saying, like find who I am and what I like. I feel like that runaway bride sometimes. Like, do I really like these eggs? Do I really like those eggs? Because I adapt to how other people would like me to be, what they'd like me to think, what they'd like me to do. And pretty soon I've lost myself altogether. And I'm just trying to get back to me.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
That's very true.
You.
Me.
Delicious.
I just think, empath or not, that we all need to be very conscientious and cautious in who we allow into our life. And that is a very hard lesson that I am learning right now. And I have had to oust people that I've known for 25, 30 years because it's a negative and I can't have it and it's making me sick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Roxanne.
I know, and she's wearing red. So for me, I just want to go back to
Not 20 minutes, okay? We don't have that long.
to the question that you asked us. She asked us, what do we do to get connected, to set all like the boundaries, everything. For me, it was, Reiki. It was Agape Spiritual Center. It was landmark classes. It was yoga. It was meditation. It was acupuncture, a psychologist,
All right, enough.
talking to best friends.
And your
get to
healthy
the point.
diet.
But that's what got me to be able to just be in myself and secure, where I could now set boundaries and do what's healthy for me and be happy.
And get the STD report.
And
Get the STD report.
wise Sheena.
I think if we learned anything tonight, it's that Roxanne does have to put out the red light.
She really does.
I'll turn it on later, Secret Crush.
It's really about don't put too much pressure on yourself. Empaths always say, "What did I do?" and narcissists always say, "What did you do?"
Right.
So we take responsibility for everything. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself that this is going to be my life. This is what I'm going to have. Why haven't I done this yet? Why aren't I? Just live your life and love yourself.
Yes.
Nurture yourself. Grow yourself like a garden.
Love,
Become your
love.
best friend. Get better connected to yourself, and then let universe bring to you the people that are supposed to be in your life, or let them be a reflection so that others can see that and fix their own stuff and come back into your life.
That's nice.
Just be gentle with yourself.
Be gentle.
Just be gentle with
Be
yourself.
gentle. I still want to see what a douchebag looks like.
Walgreens.
Is it like an enema bag?
It
Oh,
often
okay.
is also an enema bag. It
That
has
goes
two
to you.
purposes.
You know what an enema bag is?
I do.
It's the butt.
Yes, I
Hi. All right, everyone. Thank you, Tony. You can cue up the music, my friend.
You
The
bossing
Oscars
Tony
are coming
around.
again.
Yes, no more conversation about butt. Everyone, thank you for listening to another show Between the Sheets here at United Broadcasting. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, QTE Brat, BetweenTheSheetsPodcast.com. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I hope you enjoy the show. We really enjoy it. We're fun. I mean, for us, it's not even we're fun. It's not even like we're doing a show, at least not for me.
fun.
So if there are any topics or anything that you guys would like to discuss, we're open to it. We're empaths. We'll talk about anything. But seriously, do email me on Facebook or messenger me or any of the girls, because and any of us, and we can bring the topics to the table. Please continue to call in. I appreciate your support. We're only like here because of you guys. I mean, we really are. For your support and for the 40 million people following us. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for joining our
you.
circus.
Muchas gracias.
Have a good night and see you in 2
Bonsoir.
weeks.
Good night.
Night. Thanks, Sheena.
Thank you.